What's going on, everyone? I just want to let you know before this video starts, this review for Ghost of Tsushima, I recorded this video way back in August. I got busy, got distracted, never got around to editing it. I'm getting around to it now because I want to get into this rhythm of putting out a new video every week. And this is one of the videos that were just sitting on the back burner collecting dust, and I thought, you know what, this is a game that I want to put my opinions out for. I really enjoyed this game, and I think this review that I created should be put out. So I might look a little different in the video, beard might be a little bit shorter, but I still stand by everything that I said in the video. My opinions have not changed on this game. And I want to remind everybody before this video starts to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all new video uploads, hit the like button, share the video with your friends, support the channel, support me. It really helps me out a lot. I would really appreciate it. And so with all that said, enjoy the video. What's going on, everybody? My name is Curci, and this is a review for Ghost of Tsushima. Is this video overdue? I didn't get to play the game as much as I wanted to, and I wanted to finish the game before I did the review for it because that just makes sense. I probably could have made this review even before finishing the game, but I think that, especially once I played The Last of Us, that at the very end of that game, it kind of fell apart for me, so it did affect my review, so I didn't want that to happen with this game. It didn't, but I'm just saying, I like to finish games before I actually start to review them. Let me tell you about my journey with this game, because when it first got announced, I didn't really care about it. Because as a gamer, I've been conditioned that usually when things get announced and they first get demoed, it's probably not going to be an accurate representation of what the final product is going to look like. So when I saw Ghost of Tsushima for the first time ever at E3, I thought, wow, that looks great, but we'll see what the actual release of it looks like. And to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. I just put it in the back of my mind, was playing other things. And then recently I was like, oh, it's releasing in July. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. So when it came out, I downloaded it, I played it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this game is great. What Ghost of Tsushima does, it really does well. The story is good, the characters are good, the gameplay is good, the open world elements are great. It just does so many things well. Is it perfect? No. But for what it is, it's phenomenal. Now, if you've ever played Assassin's Creed games, which fans of Assassin's Creed know that Assassin's Creed likes to jump around different time periods, whether you're in Greece, whether you're a Viking, but one of them that I think I have been wanting, and I'm sure a lot of other fans have been wanting, is just go back to feudal Japan. Let's play around and be a samurai, an assassin ninja. But we never got that. Assassin's Creed never went to Japan for some reason. And so it kind of leaves you wondering, like, what game is going to give you that fix? Well, turns out that game is Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima capitalizes on the mistake that Assassin's Creed made. This game is so good. And I think it does so many things, like, innovative, but we'll get to it. So what is the story of Ghost of Tsushima? Well, you play as a guy known as Jin Sakai, who is the leader of the Sakai clan, and he is fighting to defend his home island of Tsushima in Japan against the Mongol Empire, which is starting to invade the island. This game opens up with a scene where you are fighting on a beach and it goes poorly for you. Having survived the battle, you now have to gather allies and fight back against the Mongols. And I will say that early on in this game, the combat, it was difficult. I was getting frustrated with it. It's not a hard system to get down because once I got it, I got it. For the first few hours of the game, I was kind of struggling with like the counters and the blocking, and I was getting hit all the time. I don't know if that was just me being an idiot, but once I got a handle for how to best handle the combat, it was so much fun. Ultimately, this game becomes easier as you start to build up your overall health, and there are these little things called resolve, these like little yellow circles on the bottom of your screen above your health bar, and what they do is they restore your health, and later on you can spend them to do certain moves. So early on in the game, you don't have a whole lot of resolve to spend to heal yourself, and you don't have a lot of health to spare, so a lot of the enemies are going to kill you, and they're going to kill you quickly. So it's kind of hard for you to get a rhythm for how the combat works when you're dying so quickly. But as you start to build up your health bar and you get more resolve, then you have more of an opportunity of staying alive, which gives you more of an opportunity to learn the combat. Once you get into the rhythm of it, the game becomes that much more fun. But it also feels like nothing's a challenge, because I've jumped into situations where I was vastly outnumbered and I was able to just mow them all down. At first, I thought it was kind of like the game wanted you to stealth, because if you get overwhelmed, then it becomes a much harder situation, but that's not what ended up happening. It's almost like the game conditions you to favor fighting and not using stealth. For example, as a samurai, you're going to want to treat your opponents with honor. You're going to want to go in there, let them know, hey, I'm coming to fight you, and kill them face to face, because that is the honorable way of doing it. You are fighting with honor. But throughout the story, Jin is going to have to question this honor system and feel like, I'm going to occasionally have to stab a dude in the back. And so by doing that, he starts building up this persona as being the Ghost of Tsushima. So the title of the game, Ghost of Tsushima, refers to the persona that Jin builds up, because he's this guy that stealths and is a ghost and he's feared weird. So I feel like it would have worked better if the game was designed to favor stealth, but it's the opposite. It favors combat because combat is just the easier way to go about it. You end up fighting more because it's easier and quicker and arguably more fun. Not to say that the stealth isn't fun. The stealth is fun. It just feels like you're making the process longer for no reason. The game doesn't give you a whole lot of incentive in the gameplay to use stealth. I just feel like it would make more sense if it had favored stealth, making stealth the preferred approach, because that's what makes sense to the story, because that is what Jin feels like he has to do. So in essence, you should make the gameplay feel the same way. So the developers of the game should have made the AI smarter in terms of, okay, if you're getting overwhelmed, no matter how big your health bar is, and no matter how much resolve you have, you most likely are going to die quickly because these enemies are swarming you. And they don't necessarily have an honor system, so what they're going to do is they're just going to swarm on you, beat the crap out of you, which is going to tell you, before you even get into a situation, I should probably lead with stealth, take out as many guys as I can, so that if I ever get spotted and the enemy comes after me, then I have no choice but to fight. But you should always lead with stealth. I think that there's a disconnect there, and I think that that has everything to do with the AI of the enemies. Because the AI in this game is stupid. If they were smart, they would swarm on you and it would be much harder to fight when you're opening combat. It should be easier to stealth them out. There's a mechanic in this game that before you enter combat, you have an opportunity to hit up on the D-pad and activate a standoff, which is going to call out your enemies, basically saying, hey, I'm here, let's fight. And what this does is that this triggers this mode, which is very similar to like a Western duel, you know, like you draw first and you shoot. So what you do is you hold down triangle, so then you're going to hold on your sword, and then the second the enemy moves, you release triangle, and then you slice and kill him, and it's an instant kill. And you could build this up to kill, I was able to kill like up to 5, because you'll kill the first guy, and then another guy will run in, and you'll kill that guy, and then another guy will run in, and you'll kill that guy. Which kind of does that stupid thing that video games do, where it was like every enemy is waiting their turn. Because once you kill the first guy, what it should do is you should have everybody swarm, which if it was designed better, then it would have been a little bit more of an unwinnable situation. Eventually, once you get a handle for the combat, that's not the way it works, because you could just literally run in where there are like 10 or more enemies and just slaughter every single one of them. Now, if you are going about this game and you are playing like in-your-face combat, announcing your arrival every time and just cutting as many dudes down as you can, the game is so much fun, and there's so much involved with the combat. You have light strikes, you have heavy strikes. Light strikes are going to be dealing quick damage, where heavy strikes are going to try and break an enemy's guard. There are different stances that you have. There are 4 actually, for 4 different types of enemies that you're going to encounter. You have the stone stance, which is going to be just your normal sword-on-sword combat. Then you have the water stance, which is what you're going to want to use when you're facing off against an enemy that has a shield. You have the wind stance, which allows you to fight off against enemies with a spear. And then you have the moon stance, which is what you're going to want to use when you're going against the larger brute type enemies. And what these 4 stances do is that it changes the type of heavy strike that you throw, so that when you're facing an enemy with a shield or an enemy with a spear, if you use the proper stance, then you're going to be able to stagger them, and once they're staggered, they can't block, and then you can go in with your quick strikes and hopefully take them out. You can block incoming attacks, and if you time a block properly, right as an attack comes in, you can parry your enemy, and that will leave them open for additional strikes. You also have to listen for sound cues, because there are ranged enemies, and they're going to shout out, which will inform you that an arrow is coming in, and so what you should do is you should dodge. There are also unblockable attacks coming from enemies, but if you upgrade your perks enough, some of those unblockable attacks will be parryable. You can't block it, but if you parry it, then you can get around it. In addition to just the sword combat, there's a variety of different other tactics that you can use. You could throw like these daggers, you can throw smoke bombs, you can throw like these little powder bombs, you could whip out a bow and arrow and take out dudes from a distance. You also have like a blow dart. It'll either be an instant kill where they'll start vomiting up blood and just die. Other times you can use like a hallucinogenic, which will make them go crazy and turn on their allies. But I'm going to be completely honest with you, there are so many options when it comes to the combat. A lot of times you're going to get lost in the menu, so there's going to be a lot of things that you just don't use. Like I never use like the fire bombs or the smoke bombs. It was always either I'm using my blow dart, I'm using my arrows, or I'm using those like throwable daggers. Because what it does is that it hits a guy and it staggers them, so it leaves you open to just go in there and slice them up. So the combat is very involved. The combat is good. The only thing that I don't like about the combat is that I just wish that the enemies were harder. This is the same problem that I have with a lot of the earlier Assassin's Creed games, where the enemies just seem too easy. Because you just slice them down. You just go through, you cut them apart. I just feel like a game with the story that has a surrounding focus on stealth, then the gameplay should reflect that. If you're getting overwhelmed, it should be a much more challenging situation that you're in. There are also duels in this game, and I wish that there were more of them, because most of them are going to be story-based duels. But there was this one little side quest that you go on where you have to go around and you have to challenge all these dudes. I just wish that there was more of that, where in all of the areas of the game, not just with this one specific side quest, you could go to these different areas and find this dude who wants to challenge you to a duel. They're fun, especially because you have to learn your enemy before you go about it. You have to learn what their moves are, you have to study them a little bit. Sometimes you're gonna die the first time, and then when you get in there the second time, okay, I know this guy's gonna do this, then he's gonna do this, so what I need to do is I need to do blank. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. I wish it was a little bit more challenging, and I wish that there was more of them, but what is there? Solid. One of the things that I really liked about it is that occasionally you're gonna clash swords with your enemy, and there's gonna be a little bit of a dialogue, so it adds a little bit of character to the person. They're not just a faceless, mindless enemy. And 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be build up to these enemies anyway, so you're going to be expecting this duel to happen, and so already there's a build up, and so there is a character to it. I like that. Actually, speaking of the characters in the game, there are certain characters in the game that are gonna align themselves with Jin. You can do like a set number of quests for them, and it's all focused around a singular story that is specific to that character. One character's story is that her entire family was murdered, so now she has to investigate why they were murdered, who was the mastermind behind it. Another guy sells sake, so you get into like little shenanigans of the stupid things that he does. Each character is even more fleshed out with all these different side things, and I appreciated that. I like that a lot. But let's talk about some of the other things you can do in this game. All the side stuff, all of the missions basically are all called tales. So you got your main story tales, which are going to advance the plot. You have character tales, which are, like I said, are going to be specific to the different characters that Jin meets that are his allies. They're like these normal generic one-off side tales, so sometimes you're going to meet a character that's going to want to talk to you. He may tell you about a rumor, so then you go to that area and you discover that there's something going on. A lot of times you're going to follow tracks, or you're going to be told like, yeah, my kid got kidnapped, I need you to go rescue them, or can you find my family, or whatever. Most of this stuff is always going to lead to a combat situation. There are mythic tales that are going to lead to either a new move that you can use or a new type of weapon that you can get. I mean, most of this stuff here is cosmetic, so different armor types are going to be cosmetic. Some of them are going to offer different things like boost in damage. Some of them are going to give you a boost in health. The traveler attire is going to allow you to unveil more of the map as you travel. It's also going to vibrate the controller whenever you're near some sort of collectible. Be able to dye it a certain color because you're going to collect like all of these different materials, and most of the materials are going to be all like different ways of currency and stuff like that. So for example, you're going to gather supplies, you're going to gather wood, bamboo, linen, iron, steel, different kind of stuff like that. And they're all essentially currency that you can use to upgrade your weapons. And as you upgrade your armor is going to look more and more cool, but you don't have to stick to that. Just because you're upgrading armor, you're getting better stats, but it's all cosmetic in terms of how it looks. So if you like an earlier version of this armor, you can always just knock it back to what it was. So it will still have the added bonuses of being upgraded. It's just going to look a certain way. And then of course you can gather flowers so that you can dye it. So if you don't like the color scheme, you can always change it. Of course you are limited with the dyes, so there are going to be like set ways that it looks. So you can't just be like, I want it to all look black with a little hint of blue. Like you can't get that specific with it. You're either going to buy a certain type of dye and it's going to be designed a certain way. There are also different charms that you can equip, which are going to give you even more added bonuses. Some are going to boost your health, some are going to boost your damage, some of them are going to boost your defense so you take less damage, stuff like that. And you just sort of mix around your different charms that are going to fit your specific playstyle. But going back to these mythic tales, I really enjoyed them because a lot of them have a little bit more thought into them. You go and you find this musician, the musician's going to tell you a tale. It's going to be about some legend about this guy who like cut down these enemies and he became a demon or whatever. It varies, but it's always going to be about like a legendary bow or a legendary piece of armor or a legendary technique. And at the end of these tales, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to find this thing that you're looking for and be able to use it. But yeah, these tales are all different things that you can do that are missions that you carry out. And the thing that I like most about them is that no matter if it's a story thing or a character or a mythic tale or a side tale, each of them has like this unique story around it. Like there was one time where I just kind of roamed into this town and there were only dudes around and I was like, something off about this place. And I discovered that they sold all their women to the Mongols, which means that I have to go and rescue them. And then I got to go back and I have to find the guy, like who was the mastermind behind that plot. It's cool because like every new thing that you encounter, it's interesting. It's fun because it's not so generic. It's not just another fetch quest. I mean, like, yeah, you're doing a lot of the same stuff and it's always going to probably funnel into some sort of combat situation anyway, but I like the story that surrounds it. Like there was this one where this guy was upset that his son was kidnapped by the Mongols. So then I go to the Mongols and I find his son. Turns out his son is like, no, that's not how it happened. I didn't get kidnapped. My father gave me away because he wanted to protect my older brother. He was like, don't take this son, take this son. So I was like, oh, your dad sounds like an asshole. But it's cool because there's story to it. It could be so easy to be like, Mongols attacked and then they went that way, go kill them. I don't know, there was just more involved that I think really fleshed that world out. But it's not even just the side stuff or the different tales that you can do in this game. game, there are different little random events. Like, for example, you'll be roaming down and you'll see a group of Mongols, and you'll go over there and you realize that they have a captive. So you kill the Mongols, you free the captive. And when you free the captive, sometimes they're going to be like, yeah, I got captured on the crossroads over this way, and I think there's a Mongol camp. So if you want, you can go over there and take it out. And so you go to these Mongol camps, and every single one of them is going to have a leader. So you want to take out the leader first, but essentially the point is to clear out the camp of all the Mongols so that you liberate this area. And some of them are going to be a little bit more involved. Most camps are just going to be kill all the guys and then you're done. You've liberated the area. But some of them are going to be a little bit more involved. Some of them are going to have hostages, and this is where stealth, I think, has the best play in this game, because when there are hostages, if you go in loud, a lot of times an enemy is going to try and execute the hostage. So then you have to prioritize that guy so that the hostage doesn't get killed. So it's always better to go about it stealthily, because then you don't have to worry about that concern of, okay, well, that guy's going to go kill him. But even if you were to go into it with combat, it's not that hard to identify which guy is going to go for the kill and just blitz him and take him out. Other times there are going to be camps where they're going to ask you, okay, you got to clear out all the enemies, you have to kill the leader. And by killing leaders, I should point out, will add toward your progression of getting another stance, which is cool because there's this thing where you can observe the leader and then get another tick toward learning a new stance that you don't have. And then when you kill him, that's another one. So if you do it right, you can get 2 toward your progression of a new stance just from one leader. If you observe and then kill, that's 2. But there are going to be other camps that are going to be a little bit more involved than just killing the enemy. So you're going to have to gather banners, you might have to free like falcons, you might have to destroy a thing, but it's a little bit more involved. There's a little bit more to do. But once you liberate the area, then you've liberated the area for good. In addition to all of that stuff, there are going to be these fox dens. So you're going to find these trees where there's a fox, and if you follow the fox, then the fox is going to lead you to this shrine. And if you honor the shrine, it's going to be another tick toward unlocking another slot that you could put a charm into. There are hot springs that you can go into and increase your health. You'll also be able to reflect on some of the story that has happened thus far, whether if it's about a specific character or some of the challenges Jin has faced or is about to face. Oh, there's haiku. I forgot that there's haiku in this game. Like, I love like the slower moments where you could just sit down and compose poetry just based on the environment around you. And so you write haiku, which is going to give you like a brand new headband, which again is just cosmetic. There are bamboo strikes, which are a little challenging because you got to hit like a certain sequence of buttons at a certain amount of time. And sometimes it's challenging because you're trying to do it fast, but you're also trying to remember all the inputs. But the goal is to strike out all of the bamboo strikes at once. And what it will do is that it will give you another tick towards getting another resolve that you can use to heal yourself up if you need to. There are shrines where if you go and you complete like this sort of platforming puzzle, by the end of it, you're going to get a brand new charm. So that's just another thing that you can do. The cool thing about these little side things is that they all go towards something. There's a little bit of reward from it, whether it's you're building up your progression so that you can get more health, you're building up your progression so that you can get more resolve, or you're trying to get another charm slot, or you're trying to increase the power of charms. There is always some sort of reward at the end of it. So you're giving the player some incentive to want to complete these things. But there are some things in this game that don't have that. Like there are lighthouses that you can light, and you don't really gain anything from that other than, okay, you completed a lighthouse. So I find myself more looking for fox dens or hot springs or bamboo strikes, because those are going to be the things that give me the most reward, whereas lighthouses are like, all right, you light it, cool. And here's one of the other things that I liked about this game is that there is a UI, like a very minor one. Like when you get into combat, you have a health bar that you can manage and obviously your resolve and everything else, but there is no mini map and there's no typical waypoint. You can always back out and see the world view map, and you'll see like little question marks and you're like, I don't know what that thing is. It could be a side quest, it could be a hot spring or a fox den, but either way I want to figure it out. So you'll put down these little waypoints, or you'll lock in wherever your objective is, and then when you back out, it's not like the Skyrim thing where you're looking at the top and you're seeing like the little indicator where it's like, all right, if I walk in that direction then I'm good. What the game does is that it puts in this mechanic where the wind will take you to where your objective is. So wherever you place your marker down or wherever your objective is, all you got to do is swipe up on the controller touchpad thing and the wind will guide you, and as long as you follow the wind, it's going to lead you to your objective. And I think that that's so smart. That's an interesting way of taking an element of that world, making something so simple. It's a cool replacement that just helps with immersion so much more. And that fits with the atmosphere of the world. It's like, where am I going to go? Well, the wind will guide me. Like, yeah, that makes sense for this world. I also want to take this moment to talk about how beautiful this game is, how colorful it is. You're going to roam through this forest and there are going to be leaves on the ground. And as you roam or as you ride your horse, the leaves are going to kick up or the wind's going to carry some of these little particles like loose leaves or fire embers. There are going to be times where you're just sitting there, you're just like, damn, this is a cool shot. It's like the little things that this game adds in, where it's like the guiding wind or the flowing particles, or the fact that you can swipe right on the touchpad after a battle and Jin will like clean his sword and put his sword away. I'm like, that's what I've always wanted from a samurai game. Something so small, so menial, but so immersive. I think this game just scratches so many different itches for me that really makes this game a fulfilling game. You feel like a badass samurai who's just cutting dudes down. You can cosmetically look the way you want to look, and you have all these different quests, and the game is super pretty, and just all these things combined just makes this game so worth the time. And you don't want to leave it either. Like, once you are in this game, you are in this game, spending hours upon hours in it. And by the time I was done with it, I had done all of the side quests. The only things left for me to do was to find every single den or every single hot spring or every single bamboo strike. I kind of want to do that. Like, even though I don't have any more missions, there's still a desire for me to want to go back into that world. That's a hallmark of a great game. When it's so good that no amount of content is ever going to give me the fix and I'm never going to feel like it's enough, that's good. It's not perfect because I feel like it could have done a better balance between stealth and combat, especially since stealth has such an emphasis in the story, but in practice it makes more sense to be very combative and upfront and not use stealth. So I feel like that's the biggest pullback for me. I also wish that there was more like random events, but still, the positives of this game are freaking great. The atmosphere, the way the game feels, it's so satisfying to play, especially if you're like, I just want to be a samurai. This is that game. This is the game that fulfills that desire. Oh, it's so good. And not for nothing, the story was great as well. It was very compelling. Like, the characters are so good. I wish the villain was slightly better though. If I could say anything about the story, I think the villain was a little like cookie cutter, like cliche, like the head Mongol. Should have been better. I like the way it ended. I like the way it started. I like the way it progressed. I like the way the game played. I wish it had more of an emphasis on stealth, but I do like it overall. This game gets a huge recommendation from me. If you have a PS4, because it is a PS4 exclusive, I would highly recommend you play it, because I think what it does is that it doesn't perfect the open world formula. I think that there's always room for improvement, especially in this game, but I think it does a lot of things that are innovative, like using the wind and the atmosphere. I just want to see more games explore that. Use the world to help me navigate the world. Let me follow the wind, or it's like, what's that animal doing? Let me follow that animal, because that animal is going to lead me to a quest. It goes fast, but it also takes time to like stop and just relax, compose some poetry, take in the sights. This game hit. This game hit for me, and again, could it have had improvements? For sure, but I think that there is so much to enjoy about this game. Highly recommend. Can't wait for a sequel or DLC. But that's going to be the end of the video. If you liked it, please let me know by hitting the like button and sharing the video as well. Try to get your friends to watch. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified on all new uploads. If you played the game, comment below what you thought of it. If you liked it, great. If not, tell me and let's discuss it. Also, consider watching one of these other videos here on the side, but that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.